I welcome you to this session of ISO 9001-2015, and today we are going to talk about clause number 8.7, control of non-conforming outputs. So under this clause we will discuss the first subclause 8.7.1. As usual, first of all, I'll read out the requirement to you as given in the standard. Clause 8.7, control of non-conforming outputs. 8.7.1, the organization shall ensure that outputs that do not conform to their requirements are identified and controlled to prevent their unintended use or delivery. Next para, the organization shall take appropriate action based on the nature of nonconformity and its effects on the conformity of products and services. This shall also apply to non-conforming products and services detected after delivery of products, during or after the provision of services. The organization shall deal with non-conforming outputs in one or more of the following ways. A. Correction. B. Segregation, containment, return or suspension of provision of products and services. C. Informing the customer. D. Obtaining authorization for acceptance under concession. Conformity to the requirements shall be verified when non-conforming outputs are corrected. This is the last para. So now we will discuss it in more detail. This is not a very big clause. Now, as the title says, it is regarding the control of non-conforming outputs. That means outputs which are not meeting the requirement of the product or the service as given by the customer or decided by the organization or according to what it is existing. So this is the title, control of non-conforming outputs. Now the clause 8.7.1 says, the organization shall ensure, it will make sure that the outputs that do not conform to their requirements, that means whether it is product or service, if it is not conforming to the requirements, they are identified, such products are identified and they are controlled to prevent their unintended use or delivery. It should not happen that they are passed on to the customer for use. So they have got to be prevented from the unintended use or delivery. Now, next para says, the organization shall take appropriate action based on the nature of non-conformity and its effect on the conformity of product and services. So whatever is the nature of non-conformity, whether size-wise it is not okay, or finish-wise it is not okay, or some of the parameters or sizes of the product are not as per the requirement, or whatever it is, the organization has to take appropriate action based on the nature of non-conformity. So we have to first of all see what is the nature of the non-conformity and what is the effect of this non-conformity of products and services on the final product or service. Now this shall also apply to non-conforming products and services detected after delivery of the product. Even if the product has been delivered or the service has been provided and we come across some kind of non-conformity in such a product which was delivered or service which was rendered during or after provision of the service, then we shall be taking appropriate action. So the organization shall deal with the non-conforming outputs in one or more of the following ways. A. Correction. Now correction means that we are correcting the product to meet the specified requirement. So that is correction. Correction is different than corrective action. Corrective action is different. Corrective action means that we are taking action so that this non-conformity does not happen again. And correction is correcting the product so that we can accept it as it is, perhaps with the permission of the customer or with the permission of the appropriate local authority. Now B, segregation, containment, return or suspension of provision of products and services. We have to ensure that as soon as we come across such a case of non-conformity, we have to segregate the product or the service. We have to contain it so that it does not spread out, it does not reach other customers. And we have to ensure that it is returned by the customer and the supply is suspended. So suspension of the provision of products and services, that we have to take into account. We have to ensure that all this does not happen. So we have to segregate, we have to ensure that this non-conformity is contained, that means it does not spread out to other products, and return or suspension of the provision of products and services. So the products are either to be taken back from the customer or further supply has to be suspended, as the case may be. Now, next is informing the customer. As soon as we come across some kind of non-conformity which we have noticed in the final product, we should inform the customer immediately about it. And the last point, obtaining authorization for acceptance under concession. If by any chance the non-conformity is of the nature that the customer says, no problem, we will accept it, and our authorized authority who have the authorization to give a final verdict on the product, they also say no problem, it can be given to the customer. The problem is very minor, pertaining to painting or something external which will not come in the way of the product utilization. So if it is such a case, then obtaining the authorization for acceptance under concession, then we have to take the authorization of the competent authority or the customer or both from for the non-conformity which is existing. Now, conformity to the requirement shall be verified when non-conforming outputs are corrected. By any chance, if we are correcting the non-conforming output, then we shall have to ensure, we will have to verify that conformity of the requirement is there when non-conforming outputs are corrected. So the final product which will go to the customer, that should be conforming to the specified requirement. So confirmation with this regard has to be taken from the authorized people, that means the inspection authorities or the people who are finally passing the product. So we have to take an authorization from these people. Conformity to the requirement shall be verified when non-conforming outputs are corrected. So whenever any correction is done, then we will ensure that the non-conformity is no more there in the product, and the product is conforming to the requirement. So this shall be verified before the final product, the corrected output, is handed over to the customer. So that's all in this particular clause, and in any case we have to maintain records of all these findings. What was the non-conformity, how action was taken, and how the approval was taken finally, and finally the product was handed over or rejected, whatever the case may be. So if we have done that, we have done our job with respect to the requirement of this clause. So thank you very much for listening to my video, And if you are liking my videos, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and also share my videos with your friends and colleagues who are also working in the same area. That means who are also working in the ISO area, whether in your company or elsewhere. Please share my videos with them so that they can also take advantage of the discussion that is taking place between us. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon so that as and when the video is loaded, the information regarding loading of the video shall reach you without any delay. So thank you very much, and we are meeting next Sunday again to discuss clause number 8.7.2, which is the second clause of 8.7, control of non-conforming outputs. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you next Sunday. Bye.